I just wanted to give a quick reaction to this because although I have the opportunity to play it myself, I'd rather just experience it and react with Asmongold about it because I'm not going to finish it. I'm really just so dejected from the notion of playing World of Warcraft or any Blizzard product for that matter that I'm fine with just taking a glimpse at what it was supposed to be and going, oh, great, and then moving on. So let's check it out.
Anduin, okay, here we go. Anduin's goodbye cutscene from Chains of Domination campaign.
Right.
Salak Varian gave him.
The battle is almost upon us.
This is a
I will
vision.
deal with the invading forces atop Torghast. When we reach Oribus, you will defend Zobal while he completes the ritual.
You mean he will compel me to defend him? Each time he dominates my will, I feel myself slipping further away. Is this what you felt when Arthas raised you, Sylvanas?
Wow.
Hollow. Empty. Everything you once were. Consumed by darkness.
Yes, young lion.
Young
But in
lion.
the end, the sacrifices we've made will have been worth it. Once the cycle of life and death has been broken and remade, we will...
By that time, I'll have been lost. And so will you. I only hope my friends will remember me as I was. Not what you made me to be.
That was good. That was actually good. I think that was a good cinematic. I don't know why. The thing is, like, this whole, like, dialogue here about, like, him asking Sylvanas, I really feel like they didn't, like, they could have gone, like, way farther with this. Like, this should have been, like, a 5-minute cinematic of them talking. Like, this is the kind of stuff, like, if they had played this cinematic before the end cinematic of like, Chains of Domination, where, like, he like gets all of his armor, it would make more sense that Sylvanas would shoot the arrow at Zolval and decide not to go with him.
Right.
But, like, the thing is, it's like this is retroactive, like, rationalization, and I just...
It feels like a quick response without spending too much money, which is why it's not a longer cinematic, in order to justify the complaints of a lot of players saying, why did you do that in that previous cinematic?
I don't like that because, like, we didn't know, like, we spent months, right? And, like, obviously this doesn't change everything, of course, but if they had made this a longer and more involved cinematic between, like, Sylvanas and Anduin, etc., and then on top of that, they had added in a way to see this before the ending cinematic, I feel like the story would have been perceived so much better. Yeah, I like, and this is one thing that I really hope Blizzard understands, is that these cinematics need to be, I'm not even kidding you, like 5 times as long. Like, they're trying to tell a story that has so much nuance and context to it that most people don't understand it. And
Right.
Unless you make them sit through a cinematic and watch it for themselves and have it read to them, literally, then they're just going to say it sucks. Because I think that the idea of Zolval unmaking the idea of life and death, I think that it's probably a little bit too much for breaking the fourth wall in order for it to really be good. It's like, it teeters on that, in my opinion. But I do think that it's a really cool idea. And the fact is that, like, I think the Jailer, as I said, the Jailer could be one of the best characters Blizzard ever had. The Jailer could be Thanos, but Blizzard forgot to give him any voice lines.
Right.
That's the truth.
It's just an imposing figure that's designed to look evil and therefore is evil, but we don't have any context of his intentions or what he plans to do. Plus, I still don't like how they're going down the path where Sylvanas is on the fence, perhaps potentially seeking redemption. She's done so many horrible things throughout the story. Why are you trying to bring her back once again?
They forgot to give him any fucking voice lines. And there could be like, what? Yeah, absolutely. Like, he got jailed by like all of his family. He's been in waiting for thousands of years. We don't know why Denathrius was helping the jailer. There's no backstory on that at all. There's no character development of why he went through for Karasthra, like his brother or whatever, like Illidan. You're describing him as Illidan. Well, yeah, it's the same thing, right? Like, because he was in jail for a long time. And so anyway, yeah. Like, there's no development of these characters at all. They just exist, and there's no depth to them. There's no personality to them. There's no interactions that they have with other characters, etc.
Yeah.
They just suck. And I think that's the problem. Because if you had cinematics, like, here's the reality, is if we had cinematics like this that were happening regularly in the game, I think that would dramatically increase the quality of the game.
I also think it would be interesting if you're going to have this whole notion of making the player as part of the narrative by calling every player champion. Why not incorporate that overarching enemy to potentially strip players of their power and give them incentive to be like, I fucking hate this guy. He took my legendary artifact. Because let's just accept the fact that they're going to put these legendary artifact things in the game. Like, incorporate it into the narrative and make us feel like this motherfucker, and then we go kill his ass.
Like, that would dramatically increase it. And that's what I'm really trying to say, is that, like, yeah, in Final Fantasy, you mean Final Fantasy? Yes. And I absolutely mean that the way that Final Fantasy does it is way better. Because this right here, just like the placement of it is weird, I think the cinematic overall, as I said, it's the same cinematic as the, it's like every cinematic. It's too short.
But this one didn't really add anything to my idea of the story that the previous one, where she shot the arrow at him and was resisting him, you know, Anduin is implying that he's in a struggle and he feels himself slipping away. It just feels regurgitated. It doesn't feel like there's been anything added on top of the story.
Like, every cinematic almost is too short. Like the Sylvanas versus Tyrande cinematic, it's too short. Like, let's get a little bit more development in this. It's the same thing. Like, look at this. All right. Well, let me go ahead and show you guys this. Cinematic Illidan. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, this is it. So, right here. Sargeras, the fucking existential threat of the entire universe. Of everything. This is it. Finally, Illidan is face to face with the person who's been the fucking architect of his fate for thousands of years, that he's made the fucking this thing with. And here's what we get between those two characters.
At last.
That's it.
Why? How anticlimactic.
That's it. You guys have to understand that that could have been one of the best cinematics of all time. And we didn't get that. Like, this cinematic was fucking amazing. Like, were they, like, and this was so cool. Like, this, I remember watching this live. This was fucking amazing. I was like, oh my god, it's actually Sargeras. And then somehow, nothing really happened. Like, that was so fucking cool, man. And it just, it never really went anywhere. Yeah, it's a shitty payoff. Well, it's not just a shitty payoff, it's that it just could have been so much better, man. Like, that's all I'm really trying to say. Like, it just could have been so much fucking better. I'm very disappointed that that we didn't get that. And I think this is kind of the same example where, like, you have, like, this is actually really, really good character development for Sylvanas.
I feel myself slipping further away.
Like, this is so good.
You felt when Arthas raised you, Sylvanas. Hollow. Empty. Everything you once were. Consumed by dark.
Like, it's not. I don't think so. I think so at all. Like, it gives her the stage to express some degree of remorse, to talk about how she was raised by Arthas, to commiserate with Anduin. There is a massive amount of things that they could do with that. And they didn't do anything with it. Yeah, they didn't do anything, but she's cut off. Yeah, it just cut it off. And, like, literally, it's like, it's humanization. Yeah, exactly. And it was not earned at all. It's inconsistent and sloppy. Yeah, I think that it is. Absolutely.
It feels like a cinematic for the sake of a cinematic. And if the concern is about spending too much money, why not make simpler cutscenes within the game that you can experience throughout and voice more characters that way? And if it's so much to animate these characters in such a way that you can't create a 5-minute scene that adds depth to give that character a 3-dimensional representation, so that we can really invest ourselves with who this person is and what their motivations are, why even do the cinematic?
But what I'm saying is, like, the reason why it wasn't earned is because they've had a dozen other cutscenes and information in the game that was also cut off as well.
Notoriously.
Yeah, there's not enough dialogue. Anyway, let's watch this video and then we're gonna play the game, okay?
Yeah. It seems like far too often they take the frugal route when it comes to impressing their fans. It's a shame.